Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got the latest in legal drama with shoe surgeon and Odell Beckham Jr., Angel Reese signature shoe news, a recap of the sneakers at the WNBA All-Star Game, the week's hottest releases, and of course, we have a Hard Pass. All right, and co-writer is here today. All right. Let's start the show with some hot takes. Shoe Surgeon has released a statement regarding the lawsuit Nike filed against him over his custom sneakers that use familiar Nike silhouettes as their base and materials from high-end luxury brands. We covered it last week on the show, presenting the case as it currently stood while going out of our way to disclose our friendship with Surgeon. Because, you know, transparency and whatnot. Because we wouldn't want anybody to think that we're picking a side. Oh, wait. I read one of the comments last week. Never mind. It's like when we said Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese should be on Team USA a few weeks ago, and that somehow translated to us not wanting both of them on the team.
Wait, what?
Whatever. Anyways, now Surgeon has released a statement which we'll read verbatim with the exception of one phrase which we will heavily editorialize. Quote, "It's a dream to collaborate with legendary brands, especially with the brand who tells us to believe in something, who tells us it's only crazy until we do it. Tells us the best is yet to come. Tells us to be better. To just do it. We are confused Nike has chosen litigation over discussion, but we are confident with proper dialogue and collaboration, and this is where I editorialize here, we can resolve this with the new management team and turn it into a win for the culture. Creating defines us. Our pursuit of greatness is the soul of every creation, and authenticity is stitched into our DNA. Where there is unity, there is victory." A tale as old as time. When the people who back you are no longer in charge, situations change. In some cases, packages you used to get for unboxings don't come as often.
That sounds personal, John.
Sounds very personal. In others, lawsuits get filed. I think there's a space for both Nike to defend their trademarks and for Surgeon to create. I don't know what that space is and how it will be defined, but it can't get to the point where we no longer see athletes, artists, and normies like me or you expressing their creativity or highlighting causes they feel passionate about on their feet. In other Nike courtroom news, Odell Beckham Jr. scored a major victory against the swoosh. That is, if you only follow OBJ on social media. Here, he flanked himself by what I'm guessing are some high-priced lawyers declaring that he beat Nike and that justice was served. If you're not familiar with what happened, back in 2022, Beckham Jr. sued Nike for breach of contract because they withheld compensation and royalties from signature product. What signature product, you might ask? Well, that's the thing. There was no signature product other than some OBJ branded Air Max 720s and gear. And that was part of Beckham Jr.'s frustration with Nike. He claims the lack of signature product was intentional as a way to reduce the value of his deal. Meanwhile, Nike countersued OBJ, claiming that he was in breach of contract and they didn't have to pay him because he was covering up the swoosh on his gear during NFL games. According to Sportico, Nike claimed Beckham's was in violation of their footwear and glove agreement to the tune of nearly $2 million. In Beckham's defense, for some of those games, which happened when he moved from the Cleveland Browns to the LA Rams, he claimed he was wearing custom cleats that were meant to mimic black Air Force Ones and custom chrome hearts gloves because Nike didn't give him Rams colored gear on time. Nike still considered those violations. So, who won? Well, nobody really. Again, according to Sportico, the jury determined that both sides won as defendants but failed as plaintiffs. Technically, OBJ gets to say he beat Nike, but he won't be compensated the $20 million that he feels Nike owes him, while Nike doesn't really have to do anything one way or another. It's like playing 50 turns of Mario Party and realizing the game is less about skill and more about vibes and rubber band AI. Nobody wins. Both fell off the proverbial coconut tree for wasting our time. Okay. Now that we've got all the legal drama out of the way in the sneaker world, and no, we're not touching the Adidas SL72 campaign because, man, look, that's why you hire people with differing perspectives, and we'll leave it at that. Let's talk about Angel Reese getting a signature shoe. Prior to the WNBA All-Star Game, Soul Retriever asked Reese what it was like to work with Reebok basketball president Shaquille O'Neal, and also if a signature shoe was on the way. And in her words, for sure. Now, this isn't the first time Reese has alluded to a signature line. Back in May, she posted a TikTok explaining why she went with Reebok, and in that conversation, she also intimated that signature product was on the way. So yeah, it's only a matter of time before we get sneakers from the most consequential signature athlete Reebok has signed since Reebok VP Allen Iverson. Apologies to JJ Watt and John Wall. With how well Reese is playing, she recently set a WNBA record for the longest double-double streak and helped Team WNBA beat Team USA in the All-Star game. It's got to make Reebok feel good about their first big investment back into hoops. Look, if Puma with Breanna Stewart and LaMelo Ball as their pillars can make a comeback in hoops, who's to say Reebok can't make similar waves in the near future? They already have a WNBA All-Star in their lineup. If they can sign their version of Ball on the men's side, sky's the limit. Speaking of the WNBA All-Star game, here's our power rankings of the sneakers that we saw on the court. Lots of cool stuff, including some Kobe's that I'm guessing we're going to be asking John Donahoe to make more of so we can enjoy them too. So let's start with the D tier, aka the come on sneaker brands. You gotta do better by these players who are suiting up for the WNBA's biggest game in a very long time and give them some heat to work with. First up, Jackie Young's Puma All-Pro Nitro. Kelsey Plum's Under Armour Breakthrough 5 USA PE. Brittany Giner's Nike GT Jump 2 USA PE. De'Erica Hamby's Jordan Luca 3 Photo Finish. Nanika Ogwumike's Adidas Exhibit Select 2.0 Lucid Time. Chelsea Gray's and Kalia Cooper's Adidas Exhibit Select 2.0 USA PE. These all feel like sneakers that you can pick up at any store for sale. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when the spotlight on the W has never been brighter, I feel like these brands have to show out. Like, give them the PEs that we used to get in the NBA during the early 2010s when even non-signature athletes like Marc Gasol and Chris Bosh got fire Nike basketball PEs. And I get it, the USA PEs on this tier is limited by the red, white, and blue color scheme, but come on. The least Under Armour could do was hook up Kelsey Plum with those Curry 12s. This is the C tier, aka the almost all-star worthy sneakers, but could use some more effort level. So we have Alicia Gray's Nike GT Cut 3 All-Star PE, Aaliyah Boston's Adidas Dawn issue number 6 Blue, DeWanna Bonner's Nike Book 1 Sun Bleach, and Brianna Jones' Metro Boomin Nike KD 17. Okay. So this is where we could see the funky colored hyper dunks of yore. Shout out to Alicia Gray's GT cuts that appear to use the same color scheme as the sneakers that are ranked a little bit higher on this list. More on that later. We've also got Aaliyah Boston helping show off Donovan Mitchell's latest and Brianna Jones rocking one of the KD 17s from the producer pack. Not sure if the Metro Boomin pair is the one that I would have gone with, but hey, to each their own. All right, now the B tier, aka, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Diana Taurasi's Nike LeBron NXXT Gen AMPD USA PE, Angel Reese's Reebok Solution Mid PE, Breanna Stewart's Puma Stewie 3 Paris. Shout out to legend Diana Taurasi for continuing to rock LeBron models, both signature and takedown. Angel Reese, who we just talked about earlier in the show, wore PEs of the Reebok Solution that were more in tune with her Chicago Sky colors, so that was a curious choice. She did wear a custom gradient pair during practice the day before, so we're wondering why she didn't go with that for the All-Star game itself. Meanwhile, Breanna Stewart wore the Paris colorway of her signature shoe, breaking away from the red, white, and blue that we've seen on every other player on Team USA so far. All right, then we have the A tier, aka the sneakers we're going to complain that aren't available in stores. So we have Kelsey Mitchell's Nike Book 1 PE, Sabrina Ionescu's Nike Sabrina 2 USA PE, Asia Wilson's Nike LeBron 21 USA PE, and Jonquel Jones's Nike KD 17 All-Star PE. Continuing in the long line of Nike Book 1 PEs that people seem to like but can't buy because they're PEs is this blue suede pair from Kelsey Mitchell. Current Nike signature athlete Sabrina Ionescu and future Nike signature athlete Asia Wilson were rocking the same USA colorway that Drew Holiday and LeBron James were featured in when we talked about the men's team a few weeks back. Looking forward to that red Sabrina USA colorway dropping this week especially. And while I do appreciate Jonquel Jones's Nike KD 17 PEs, I was hoping she would rock her Bahamas-inspired PEs that's dropping in late August. Not gonna lie, that might be the best colorway of the KD 17 yet. Got a lot of early year easy money KD energy with those. Now we have the S tier, aka the Mamba tier. Joelle Lloyd's, Nafisha Collier's, and Alicia Thomas's Nike Kobe 4 Protro USA PE, then Caitlin Clark's, Arike Ogunbowale's, and Kayla McBride's Nike Kobe 6 Protro All-Star PE. I mean, duh. What else was going to take the top spot? This is hard pass. We're Kobe pilled and we're not ashamed about it.
Nope, we're not.
With that being said, the Kobe 6s that were on the feet of Clark McBride and All-Star Game MVP Arike Ogunbowale, certified banger. Whether or not it's another cheetah-inspired colorway, it's going to be one of the more memorable Kobe 6s because of the history attached to it now. Psst. Hey, John Donahoe, you know the drill. I know you watch this show. Make more Kobe Protros.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because I feel like that's the best way. It's like a soothing. It's a
suave,
very soothing, suave thing.
Yeah.
Trying to get in touch with his inner,
his
inner sneakerhead. Anyway, so also, oh yeah, those USA colorways worn by Lloyd and the rest of the team, along with the pair shown off by Tyrese Halliburton, would also be greatly appreciated. Thanks, John. All right. For our pick of the week, the NASA Reebok Classics pack. This is going to be on the 31st. So Reebok boldly goes where no sneaker brand has gone before. Well, that would be cool if it was true, but the reality is that there have been a lot of NASA sneaker collabs out there. So this puts Reebok in a spot where they have to deliver something we haven't seen before, and I gotta say, I think they pull it off. I'm not entirely sure sneakers are allowed on the International Space Station, but if they were, they would probably be gray and have a worn-in, homely look, and these sneakers, I think, fit the bill quite nicely. So we have the NASA Reebok BB 4002. This is going to be on July 31st for $200. The NASA Reebok Classic Leather Hexalite, that's on the 31st for $100. And then you have the Reebok Club C Zip on the 31st for $120. All right. It's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the olds, including myself and co-writer. Especially co-writer. Playing the Nintendo World Championships in EA Sports College Football 25. Within a span of 24 hours, gaming millennials all around the world, but mostly in America, were firing up their controllers with the return of two things near and dear to their hearts: the Nintendo World Championship and simulating 60-year-old dynasties in video game college football. Having those two icons side by side brought back memories of lazy weekends as a kid trying to find the hidden warp whistles in Super Mario Bros. 3 and sleepless nights at college dorms creating teams for schools that didn't have the money or the athletes to build up a program. So, you would think this rest of nostalgia would be great for everybody, right? Wrong. It's just another reason for people co-writers' age to be annoying fucks online, and now we want it to go away. Well, kinda. Look, it's been a wild few weeks. We couldn't come up with a hard pass that was, let's just say, unburdened by what has been.
Why? What happened?
All right. A quick refresher. The Nintendo World Championship was a legendary event in 1990 that pitted kids across the country to post high scores on a custom NES cartridge that featured challenges from Mario 1, Rad Racer, and Tetris. I, unfortunately, did not qualify on account of being a Gen Zer and thus was born decades after the World Championship, while co-writer read about it in video game magazines because he was in another country.
I would have won.
As for video game college football, there was a decade-long drought due to a lawsuit brought about by former college stars against EA Sports for using their name, image, and likeness or close facsimiles of them in the games without being compensated. EA held back from producing their annual game until the NIL situation was figured out. Now you can play the game with mostly accurate rosters.
So, Jacques, does that mean they're in the game?
So, as co-writer said, that means they're in the game. I'm sorry. So, for what it's worth, players that opted to be featured in the College Football 25 got paid $600 and received a free copy of the game. That's a lot of money when you add up every team featured, but considering the game sold 2.2 million copies of the Play 3 Days Early $100 version, it's well worth the money spent. Okay, so co-writer and I played NES World Championship on the Switch and College Football 25 on the Xbox Series X. Our impressions of both games so far is that they are nostalgia trips that we thought they would be. NES World Championships is all about speed running through small challenges in the game, like grabbing the first mushroom in Mario or clearing the first stage of OG Donkey Kong as fast as possible. It plays into that competitive side of trying to shave precious milliseconds off of best time by repeating the same challenge over and over and finding a new strategy to exploit. Like, Who knew you could kill 4 Octoroks in Zelda 1 with only 2 Master Sword swipes in less than 2 seconds? Watching Co-Rider obsess going from 5 seconds to a sub 2-second time was funny, as he was always a few fails away from throwing his Pro Controller.
Why are you telling people that?
I mean, it's important information. Unfortunately, Nintendo has decided this kind of fun should be limited to you and friends that can come over to the house because there's no online friend leaderboards. Hopefully, that's something that will be patched in the future updates along with more challenges. Meanwhile, shout out to College Football 25 for allowing custom creations online so Co-Rider could download his alma mater that does not have a football team.
Wow.
Sure, it's got some weird quirks like the song Mo Bamba playing way too much, or the Connecticut Huskies logo being plastered all over the stadium, or the players wearing Nike kits with Adidas cleats and gloves, but those are minor nitpicks as I watched him beat Alabama with a team that's probably sub-Division 3 talent-wise. These are all facts. What was less fun was seeing him get whooped online by a kid who's probably old enough to be his son and getting respectfully trash-talked the whole time. I say respectfully because we've all been there online where some kid gets a little too comfortable saying gross stuff, whether they're winning or losing. Yeah, less online time for us, more dynasty mode where we take a Cal Poly school to the playoffs, baby.
Oh, Broncos.
So this is our plea to all the people Co-Rider's age playing both games right now.
Why?
Look, it's a plea to people. Let me talk to the people. Look, let's just enjoy the games, but don't flood the group chat every time you do something cool. It's like when somebody just casually brings up their fantasy football team. Like, my guy, no one cares that you forgot to bench whoever because they're on a bye week. We don't need screenshots every other hour of you finishing Mario 1 in under 10 minutes, especially when the world record is like sub 6 minutes, or when you win another championship in Dynasty mode. Online friend leaderboards, Nintendo. Please make that happen. It'll make life easier for all of us. All right, and that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message or socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace. And Co-Rider, are you going to be here next week?
I don't know.
No. See, this guy. Peace.